Imagine this. Wall Street, buzzing, full of energy,
Yeah.
and then just chaos. October 29, 1929. Not just a bad day. They called it Black Tuesday. The stock market didn't just trip, it completely imploded.
Right, a catastrophic collapse.
Yes, the shockwaves, they weren't just financial, they hit everywhere, immediately. Across America, then, well, globally.
It really was the trigger, wasn't it, for the worst economic crisis the U.S. had ever seen.
Exactly. Changed everything. So, okay, that's the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? How does one single financial meltdown, how does that spiral into a whole decade of hardship?
A decade of unprecedented suffering, yeah.
And what came out of it? What were the fundamental shifts in society and politics that emerged from that darkness? That's our deep dive.
It is a complicated story, so many layers. But our mission today, using the sources we've got, is to try and cut through some of that complexity.
Yeah, guide you, the listener, through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Walk through the timeline, meet some of the people, and pull out the big lessons. Some surprising ones, too.
Our goal is for you to come away with a really clear picture. The origins, the impact, the legacy, some crucial insights maybe you haven't thought about before.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, to really get the scale of the crash, we kind of have to rewind a bit to the decade before the Depression.
The Roaring '20s.
The Roaring '20s. Yeah, it just seems like this era of unstoppable optimism. Economic growth felt like it was on overdrive.
It really did. New tech was everywhere.
Totally. Cars weren't just for the wealthy anymore. They were changing how people lived, worked, and radios.
Bringing the nation together in a new way. News, music.
Right into your living room.
Yeah.
It created this shared experience. And the stock market. Wow. It was just soaring higher and higher.
Pulling everyone in.
Everyone wanted a piece.
Yeah.
The feeling was, this party's never going to end.
But, when you dig into the sources, that shiny surface, it was pretty deceptive.
How so?
Well, underneath all that apparent boom, there were some serious cracks forming. Growing inequality, for one. Wealth wasn't being shared evenly at all. And maybe even more dangerous, the speculation. Just rampant speculation and mounting debt. People weren't just investing, they were, frankly, gambling.
Gambling on the market going up forever.
Exactly. Sources talk about, everyday people pooling savings to buy stocks on margin.
On margin.
Oh.
Meaning they borrowed most of the money.
Precisely. Put down maybe 10%, borrowed the rest, hoping for quick, easy riches. It built this enormous, totally unsustainable bubble.
So a foundation built on sand, really.
Very shaky ground,
Yes,
even while the jazz played on, as they say.
And then that shaky ground just gave way.
Yeah.
Black Tuesday. That wasn't just a symptom, was it? It was the trigger.
Oh, absolutely the trigger. It set off this devastating chain reaction,
Yeah.
like dominoes falling one after the other.
So the crash wipes out fortunes.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then the banks start failing, and this is crucial. The banks weren't just sitting on deposits. They were heavily invested in the same stock market that was now collapsing.
Ah, so they were exposed. Hugely exposed.
Hugely. When the market tanked, they went down with it. And the impact on ordinary people? Brutal.
Because there was no deposit insurance then, right?
Nothing. No FDIC. If your bank failed, your life savings. Poof. Gone.
God, that's terrifying.
It led to this massive contraction of the money supply. Banks failing, people hoarding cash out of fear. Businesses couldn't get loans, couldn't make payroll.
And consumers stopped spending.
Completely.
Yeah.
Spending just evaporated. It became this vicious downward spiral, feeding on itself.
So let's make this real for someone listening. This wasn't just numbers on Wall Street. This hit Main Street. Hard.
Instantly. The crisis jumped from finance to the, quote, real economy.
Factories couldn't sell goods. Stores closed. Mass layoffs.
The numbers are just stark. Unemployment was around, 3% in 1929? Pretty healthy.
Yeah.
By 1933, it had surged to over 25%.
25%. 1 in 4 people. Your neighbor, your family member. Suddenly jobless.
With absolutely no safety net, no unemployment benefits to speak of, nothing.
Just devastating. And the human cost, it spread everywhere, didn't it?
Profoundly felt across the whole country. Take farmers, for example. They were already struggling.
Right. Falling crop prices.
Yeah.
Debt from the 20s.
Exactly. And then, as if that wasn't enough, this severe drought hits in 1930, lasts for years.
The Dust Bowl.
The infamous Dust Bowl. The topsoil literally just blowing away. Farming became impossible in huge areas of the plains.
I've seen pictures. Those black blizzards. Terrifying.
Unimaginable. Sources describe these enormous dust storms just blotting out the sun, smothering everything.
So economic ruin an environmental catastrophe.
The combination forced hundreds of thousands off their land, migrating mostly west to California, desperate for any work at all, leaving everything behind.
And in the cities, you started seeing these really visible signs of hardship.
Yeah, symbols of the era. Shantytowns started popping up, made of scrap wood, metal, whatever people could find.
And they called them Hooverville,
Mockingly, yes. Named after President Hoover. It shows you where the public anger was directed.
blaming the government for not doing enough.
And then the breadlines, the soup kitchens, just heartbreaking images of people queuing for hours for a basic meal.
That was the daily reality for millions, not just headlines.
A daily struggle for survival.
If that level of suffering, I mean, it had to shake up politics.
Oh, completely.
Aye.
A political earthquake. The Republicans, who dominated the 20s, they took the blame. Hard.
Leading to the 1932 election.
A massive landslide victory for Franklin D. Roosevelt and the Democrats. It wasn't just a win, it was a clear mandate. People were desperate for change, for a new approach.
And FDR delivered something radically different, the New Deal.
Radically different, absolutely. The sources describe it as this huge collection of programs, policies, all built around three core ideas.
Relief, recovery, reform.
Exactly. Relief for the suffering, recovery for the economy, and reform to try and prevent it ever happening again.
It was a massive expansion of government's role. Unprecedented.
Totally unprecedented in American life.
And some of these programs, they had a direct, massive impact. Think about the WPA, the Works Progress Administration.
Employed millions, right?
Yep.
Building infrastructure.
Roads, bridges, schools, stuff we still use. But here's something interesting. The WPA didn't just hire laborers.
No, it supported artists, writers.
Yeah. Commissioned murals, plays, state guidebooks, recognizing that culture matters, even in a crisis. It valued human dignity.
That's a fascinating aspect. And then maybe the biggest legacy piece.
Social Security.
Social Security.
Yeah.
Creating that fundamental safety net. Old age pensions, unemployment insurance. It sounds normal now, but back then, revolutionary.
A buffer against total destitution.
And the New Deal also tackled the financial system head-on, trying to restore trust.
Like creating the FDIC,
Yeah.
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Exactly, to protect bank deposits. So if your bank failed, you wouldn't lose everything. Trying to prevent those 1929-style bank runs.
Made a huge difference to confidence.
And the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, to regulate the stock market. Put some rules in place to curb that wild speculation.
Trying to prevent another bubble like the one that burst in '29.
Right, instilling stability. But, we have to be clear, the New Deal wasn't loved by everyone.
No, definitely not. It was hugely controversial.
Hugely. Our sources really highlight this. Some people saw it as way too radical, socialism even, an attack on free markets, on individual liberty, too much government power.
And others thought it didn't go far enough.
Exactly. Some felt it needed to be even more drastic to really fix the deep problems of inequality and poverty.
Shows how complex history is. Different perspectives, fierce debates.
Absolutely. No easy answers, even then.
So beyond the economy and politics, what about the culture? How did society adapt to this long period of hardship?
Well, you saw this shift in arts and literature, a move towards realism.
Like John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath.
Precisely. Artists trying to capture the harsh realities, the dignity of people struggling, rather than just, escapist fantasies.
But escapism was important too, right?
Oh, hugely important.
Yeah.
Radio and movies really boomed. They offered a cheap way to escape the daily grind just for a little while. A bit of solace.
Needed that.
Definitely. And critically, often overlooked, is the global dimension. This wasn't just an American crisis.
Right, you mentioned the shockwaves went global.
And the response was global, too, in a bad way. It fueled protectionism, isolationism. Countries threw up tariffs, restricted trade, trying to protect their own autonomies.
Turning inward.
Which created this toxic environment, this economic nationalism. It actually helped pave the way for the rise of fascism in Europe.
Wow. So the Depression connects directly to World War II.
There's a strong link. Economic instability breeding political extremism. It's a sobering reminder, really.
And the end of the Depression itself. It wasn't just the New Deal fixing everything, was it?
Not solely, no. The economy was improving slowly in the late 30s, but what really kickstarted things was, ironically, the preparation for war.
Increased government spending on defense.
Massive spending. As the U.S. started rearming, gearing up for the conflict brewing overseas, that finally pulled the economy out of the Depression for good. World War II essentially ended it.
So looking back, connecting all these threads, what's the lasting legacy?
It's profound. I mean, the Depression fundamentally changed the government's role in the economy. Full stop.
All those programs we mentioned, Social Security, FDIC, unemployment insurance.
They became embedded, things we now see as essential safety nets. It also reshaped politics for decades. The Democrats became dominant, and even Republicans eventually accepted many New Deal reforms.
And it raised awareness, didn't it? About poverty, inequality.
A lasting awareness. Sparked new political movements, new conversations about economic justice that we're still having today.
So bringing it forward, what does this all mean for you listening today? What are the takeaways?
Well, several big ones, I think.
It definitely showed that free markets aren't always perfect.
Right.
They don't always self-correct.
Clearly not. Sometimes government intervention is necessary, even vital, especially in a crisis.
And the importance of those social safety nets. Protecting vulnerable people.
Absolutely crucial. Morally and economically. And maybe another lesson given the global context.
International cooperation.
Yeah. Economic problems don't respect borders. We saw how protectionism made things worse. Cooperation is key.
Ultimately, though, it's a human story. Suffering, yes, but also incredible resilience.
Resilience, community, hope, people helping each other through unbelievable hardship. That's a powerful part of the story, too.
So a final thought to leave people with.
Well, what's truly striking, I think, is how the Great Depression forces us to confront these huge questions about economic justice, government's role, human resilience.
Questions that aren't just historical footnotes.
Not at all. They're still incredibly relevant. So, as we face our own complex challenges today, you have to ask, what can we really learn from America's darkest decade about how to not just get through tough times, but maybe, just maybe, emerge stronger?